And good afternoon, everybody. This is Tony Fapiano coming to you from the studio at Valley Shores Community Television. It's my privilege today to host a conversation with members of the Ivoryton Players. And the Ivoryton Players are a group that I understand are fairly new in the area, but you're going to get an opportunity to meet some of the members of the players as well as talk about some of the events that they have coming up. So let me start with some introductions. To my left, my immediate left, is Joyce Beauvais, who is the founder and director of the Ivoryton Players. Now, that sets you apart from, I think, the others, because you're the original person that actually put the concept of the Ivoryton Players together. Is that correct?
I cooked it up in my very own pot, yes.
All right. And you brought with you some of the members of the Ivoryton Players.
I did.
Right next to you is Norm Ruddy, who is an actor and a fairly new member, I understand.
Yes.
So we'll get into that and why you got involved with this group.
Very good.
And next to Norm is Deborah Mott, who is an actress and founding member as well. And I understand your voice is unbelievable. That's what they tell me. So, are you ready? We have music for you too, you know. And next to Deborah is M.E. Rich, and she is an actress and also a founding member. Yes. So let me start with the director, because you're the guy that started all this. First of all, why did you do that? And tell us a little bit about what the Ivoryton Players actually are and what you do.
Well, I did it because I have a passion for theater. I was born in a trunk, I'll die in a trunk, and I fell in love with moving. I lived in New York City for many years, moved to Connecticut from Florida, and fell in love with the Ivoryton Playhouse almost the moment I landed. When I walked through those doors and smelled that smell of the theater and that beautiful old building and that stage, and then met Jacqueline Hubbard, the artistic director and executive director, and then saw her act, saw her direct, and I just knew that I had to be some part of this theater. And I knew what I did and what I did best, and that's to create a group like the Ivoryton Players. However, this is a very unique group. It's an incredibly talented group of folks. There's more talent that you'll learn in just these three people. And we put out a call. I met with Jackie. I said, I want to do this. We do our productions as staged readings, but we rehearse for such a long period of time that the scripts virtually disappear. And we do full costumes, full sets, full props, and
all right, let's back up a little bit, because you are associated with the Ivoryton Playhouse,
right,
but you're not the Ivoryton Playhouse.
No.
You're just there's an association there. So
yeah.
Maybe you can clarify that for me at least. What is that association?
Well, we're
in other words, what benefit are they to you and vice versa? What benefit are you to them?
They're a tremendous benefit to us, because they give us our rehearsal space. We get to perform on the stage of the Ivoryton Playhouse once a year. They give us administrative support, promotional support, technical support. They do email blasts, and that's how we've gotten all these wonderful people, because people respond to an email that comes from the Ivoryton Playhouse. And they feel like real partners to us, and we're always trying to up our game so that they'll want to hold on to us.
So are you sort of like the junior varsity?
Yeah, exactly.
Does Jackie use you as a type of recruiting, so to speak? Does she come to see what you have and who you people are and what you can do, and maybe even draw you into some of the plays that she's doing?
She does, and of course,
Amy, you want to answer that?
Norm has performed countless times on the Ivoryton Playhouse stage.
Before your association here, though.
Yeah.
So
she comes to see everything, and I don't know how she does it. And if she sees the right talent and the right person, I'm sure she would call on them to audition. But that isn't the point of the Ivoryton Players. We are who we are by ourselves.
Okay. All right, let me talk to Norm. Because Norm, I understand you're brand new with the group, with the Ivoryton Players.
My experience was in the opposite direction, in the sense that I've done a number of shows at the Ivoryton Playhouse, and when Joyce was looking for the lead in The Man Who Came to Dinner, because the previous very fine actor had to bail out for health reasons, I got a call from Jackie Hubbard saying, "You may be getting a call from Joyce Beauvais."
And you said?
And I said yes, immediately.
You didn't know what the call was going to be about? Or?
He loved the role.
Because the role of Sheridan Whiteside in The Man Who Came to Dinner is a true plum for any actor. And
when was that?
That was just last year.
Okay, but had you been associated with
I had not.
Ivoryton prior to that?
Not with the Players.
Not the Players, no, the Ivoryton
but the
Theater.
Ivoryton Playhouse, yes.
Playhouse.
My first show at the Ivoryton Playhouse was Scrooge the Musical in 2003.
Okay, so she knew what she was getting. When
Yeah,
she
oh
said
yeah,
you're gonna
I've
get
done
the
a
call.
number of shows there.
Okay. And do you have other theatrical experience as well?
Yeah, I've done some shows for SummerWorks in New London, for the Spirit of Broadway Theater, professional theater in Norwich. Plus, for the last 43 years, I've been singing and performing with a folk group,
Called?
playing in saloons around around the state.
What's the name of the group?
Save the Train, Crazy Music.
They're great.
okay.
They're terrific.
Okay, so what attracted you to this group? What did you see in what Jackie was, what Joyce was making available to you? What did you see in that?
Aside from the role, I saw that after my first rehearsal that there were a bunch of talented people, both seasoned folks and relative amateurs, newcomers, who were really enthused about any production that was going on and enthused about rehearsing, and it was just, the energy was.
Is this your real life?
Was
Is
it-
this what you do, or do you
Well,
have,
I'm retired.
from what?
I headed up the market research and customer information group at Northeast Utilities for a number of years.
Okay.
So I was a suit and tie man.
You're the guy responsible for my
Exactly.
high rates.
Yep. I take full responsibility for that
Okay.
prior to 1983.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. All right, and next to you is Deborah. Now, Deborah, I made a statement earlier that I heard you have a fabulous voice. So I'm assuming that you have a tremendous amount of experience to go along with the voice. Is that correct?
I have a fair amount of theatrical experience, although I was out of it for a long time. So this was my first stepping back into theater.
What was your
in
previous
quite a number of
experience?
years. Mostly community theater, some singing in cafes and nightclubs on top of pianos and things, nothing risque. Yeah, around in South, but in LA and.
So how
and New
did you even
Jersey,
know
but-
about what Joyce was doing? How'd you hear about
one
it,
of the
and what
flyers.
attracted you to what they were
I
doing?
can't remember whether it was an email that came out from Ivoryton Playhouse.
Probably so.
Probably so. And I think it was the day after you'd had your first auditions. And I thought, oh no, I'm not gonna make it in. So I think I was there on the second day of auditions.
Yeah, you were.
The first
and I
time you
remember
were.
it well. She's so gifted. She's incredibly gifted. These three people just make any role their own and worth it for any audience to come and watch them.
you guys are.
They're extraordinary. They really are.
Well, let's talk about you, Amy. What's your experience and what attracted you to the group?
My experience extends over many decades. I started out at Goodspeed as a tech person, one summer stock when they were getting back on the boards. The next year I was hired as an actress. I moved to New York immediately thereafter and spent 40 years doing theater in addition to,
So you're talking Goodspeed 40 years ago.
yeah, and the Ivoryton Playhouse. 40 years ago, I nearly ran over Kitty Carlisle, leaving after a show, having gone to see them.
You probably didn't miss a happy hour.
Yeah. Well, Kay Medford gave me a glare, I have to say. I was not a very good driver. So in New York, I did an awful lot of theater, mostly off-Broadway, nothing that would take too long between feeding the cat, because you got to pay the rent. I did corporate travel for the Ford Foundation, and then when my husband retired, we moved back to Connecticut, and I was just waiting for Joyce. I didn't know she was out there, but I was glad she was.
Joyce, you mentioned that once you saw the Ivoryton Playhouse, you had to do something. You had to be involved.
I did.
When was that?
That was February 2013.
13. So it's only 3 years ago. And how long has the group actually been established?
We did our first production of Fools by Neil Simon in the late fall or early winter of 2014.
Okay, so you've been performing for, this will be really your third year, third season, so to speak.
Third season.
Okay,
Yeah.
now,
Production.
have you all been involved with the exception of you, have you two been involved in previous productions?
Yes, she was my mom.
Yeah,
She was
this
my
is
mom in
darling,
Fools.
my
In Fools,
very
our
darling.
first production.
And she was my nemesis in
Yes, and we were
Man Who
nemesis.
Came
You
to
don't
Dinner.
look old enough to be her mom.
Thank you very much.
Not at all.
No, she's pretty young, this kid.
And she's young.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's talk about your experience with what you have done with the group and what that's like.
Oh, it's been a wonderful experience. It's Joyce said that it was a unique group of people, and it is. It's such a welcoming environment. And Norm, you mentioned that it's all ranges of experience and skill level. But it's such an ensemble, heartfelt group that it's a very safe environment for people to take risks in.
Correct.
And it's been so exciting to see people who, all of whom are amazingly gifted naturally, and these great natural comedians come out who think that they don't want to do it, and then all of a sudden they're blossoming on the stage in front of you and taking additional risks. It's been great.
Yeah, so in terms of the excitement that you sensed and you've experienced, what about the audience?
Oh, we've had
What's the reaction from your audience?
we've had great reactions from the audience, and you know, just in the Man Who Came to Dinner, which was done at the Ivoryton stage, standing ovation at the end,
And sold out.
and quite a sold out.
And sold
house.
out.
It was great.
Sold out.
Screaming,
Yeah.
yelling,
Yeah.
they jumped out of their chairs. I had given them a song to sing at the end of the show. We have beautiful voices in the group, so for curtain call, they always get a song. And it was Christmas time, and it was The Man Who Came to Dinner. So I think it was Deck the Halls.
Yeah, yeah.
They couldn't sing the song because people were hooting and howling and jumping out of their seats
Yeah,
and
it was great.
screaming, and they filled to the balcony.
And you actually perform in two different venues, is
We
what I
do.
understand,
Yes,
right?
we do.
You do one performance at the Ivoryton Playhouse, but you do another one elsewhere. Where is
Which
that?
is coming up in May. We're at the Centerbrook Meeting House. And that we call our spring workshop, where the actors really get a chance to spread their wings and take those risks that Deb was talking about, because we compile scenes from some of the great American and British playwrights and wit. The underlying concept of my players is that, and I have the East Line Players as well, but the Ivoryton Players are my heart, and is fun, funny, humor, comedy. We don't ever do
You're doing
drama.
Oscar Wilde, I think.
We're doing Oscar Wilde, we're doing Thornton Wilder, we're doing Noel
Thornton
Coward,
Wilder.
Neil Simon. Our second act is called Simon Says. And we just do everything we can to make everybody
you're
laugh.
doing a full act from each
Just
of
a scene.
No, just
Just
scenes.
a scene.
Yeah,
Okay.
so everybody
In
gets a
costume?
chance.
In-
Oh, yeah.
With everything?
Yeah.
Yes, fully staged.
Everybody gets a chance to try out different characters, different ages, different sexes. Sometimes we'll have a woman play a man and see if they can handle it. It's really a workshop to play around with all of that. And going back to Fools, when these two in our first production, because you were saying, how does Ivoryton work and how did it come about, the players? We didn't know. We still don't know. We're still growing. But Jackie gave us a date, great. And then something happened at the Playhouse that changed the show and what was going to be the set on the stage of the Playhouse. So Fools by Neil Simon is set in the heart of the Ukraine. And we had to do it on the set of a pub in Dublin.
Yes.
And, you know, with the Christmas
But you
tree-
have full sets for each scene? And you change the sets?
Oh, yeah,
Not for the
Yeah.
scenes, not for the
But
scenes in the spring.
So the first show we didn't. We did our whole show in the Dublin set. But we made it so believable by the changes that we did, and it was so hilariously foolish, being fools, that it worked. And then for Man Who Came to Dinner, we had a full set. And we do a suggestion of set in our workshops and costumes.
Okay, tell me, I know what the Ivoryton Playhouse looks like, and I think a lot of people watching probably know. What does the Centerbrook,
It's a lovely building.
what do you have there?
It's
They
an old,
refurbished
it's an old congregational church, one of the oldest in the state, as a matter of fact. And it was bought by two local businessmen because it was about to be torn down. And they rehabilitated the building and use it and rent it out to community groups or donate it to its use to community groups around the town of Essex and the villages of Centerbrook and Ivoryton.
But the venue is sufficient enough to
It's 120.
stage and
It's 120 seats in the
We get very
in the
creative.
orchestra and 40 seats in the balcony.
what about lighting and
Well,
Is that up to you, or-
that's my job, and there's minimal lighting, but we will bring in, that's another way the Ivoryton Playhouse is so helpful to us. We'll bring in a technical guy, who'll throw up a few more Fresnels or whatever we need so they can see themselves on the stage and the audience can see them. We're doing one evening show and one matinee. But we did, it works. As long as you've got the magic of theater, you can create it anywhere. And when you've got people with passion and talent, the magic comes through. And I mean, that sounds corny, but it's the absolute 100%. It's what makes us all do it.
And with the scenes that have been chosen by Joyce for this next production, the minimal sets required. It's
Right.
some chairs, a small table, a tea set, a martini shaker.
Yeah, and you're there. You're in the
And,
scene.
bottle of scotch and you're all set?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you move those tables and chairs around, and you create different venues completely.
Right. Now, it sounds like you obviously have expenses to produce what you produce and to move forward and to be in your second full season, or 2.5 seasons, I guess now, right? I know you have a couple of ways of doing that. One, I guess, is
We
ticket
do?
sales.
Tell me. Well, ticket sales, they've been mostly
I'm assuming you
donations.
have a couple of ways. I know you have a benefit coming up
We
that
have
we're
a
going to talk
benefit.
about.
That's our first way of really trying to help us out. We are known to say that we have a budget of 0 and magic. And that's basically the truth.
But when the rent comes due, magic doesn't do it.
Jackie
Right.
Hubbard and the Ivoryton Playhouse support us. They give us
They
the
do?
space, yes. We do not pay rent. That's one of the ways that we're connected with them.
But in Centerbrook, you must, or
No,
Not there either?
she's connected with that building, and
I see.
it's right on the same street as the theater and right across the street from the Ivoryton Foundation, and they often rehearse their musicals in
okay,
there.
gotcha. All right, now, but you also have other production costs.
Well,
We do.
we have resources. I will mention my costume collection, which dates to the 60s.
She has an amazing costume collection.
And you can I bring in bags of stuff and people choose costumes from it.
We throw
Or
a list out
props,
there.
all the props.
Here's a prop we need, here's a costume we need,
Yeah.
here's a hat we need, here's a table we need. This table doesn't work, it's too small. The next thing you know,
Something pops up.
something comes in, and we've got our table. We're doing a wonderful reception following the benefit, and every one of the Ivoryton Players is creating the hors d'oeuvres, and we have a wonderful 2 chairs that are organizing all of that and making that happen, and the players will be there at the benefit, Ronnie White, to usher people in, and then Deborah's going to sing a song at the top of the second act of the benefit.
All right, let's talk about the benefit with Ronnie White. First of all, who is Ronnie White?
Oh, he is a star par excellence. He's a jazz pianist, lyricist, singer, composer. He's done everything. I remember this from working at Goodspeed and going into New York to the St. Regis, I think.
Yeah, he played the St.
And
Regis.
he's marvelous. He is a.
So what's his act? What does he do?
He
The American
plays-
Songbook.
He's the great.
So he does a Feinstein? Or,
Yeah,
He
exactly.
is,
Very
but
similar.
he's very
so he
jazz
talks
oriented.
about the composer and the music and the theme
Yeah.
and everything, and then plays it?
Jazz
Sings it?
oriented,
sings it,
jazz
yeah.
oriented. We have this bass player, Boots Mailson, who's one of the finest bass players in the New York scene. Ronnie has done concerts all over the world. He's a magnificent pianist. He knows everything about every song, a la Michael Feinstein. I met Ronnie when we were young actors at the Booth Bay Playhouse, and he was already well established as a musician and cabaret man. And as a result, fast forward 20 years, I had my own cabaret called Chez Beauvais Restaurant and Cabaret in Manhattan. And Ronnie and I booked my acts together. And Jack Rollins was my partner, he was the executive director of David Letterman at that time, and he managed Robin Williams, David Letterman, and Billy Crystal. He loved cabaret and jazz. So Ronnie and I have a long history, and we could never afford him, but because he's a good friend, and I won't stop talking about the Ivoryton Players, He said, would you like me to do a benefit for you?
And it is a benefit? He's doing it as a benefit?
He is doing it as a benefit.
Yeah.
Bless it. Yep.
So the date of the benefit is?
The benefit is Saturday, April 30th at 7 p.m. with a reception following. I can even give you the time frame. There's going to be a 50-minute first act, 10-minute intermission, 30-minute act 2, starting with Deborah Mott's song, and then the reception to follow, wine and hors d'oeuvres.
And it is International Jazz Day,
It happens
April
to be,
30th.
yeah.
Okay, now we are taping this.
Oh,
Today is
yeah.
April 12th, I believe, right? So you don't have very much time.
A couple of weeks.
Are you ready?
April 13th.
Oh, sure.
I think
Well, he's going to carry the whole thing, and Deb.
Well,
I
we've
mean,
been
we-
working on it, and,
Yeah.
and we know that you'll tell a lot of people about it.
Yeah, well,
We have
hopefully
beautiful-
somebody's watching, and if they are watching, how do they get tickets to attend?
Well, you go to call the Ivoryton box office.
Oh, you can get, they're
Yeah, the
using, you're
Playhouse
using their
Box
box office too?
Yes.
Yes, and you can go up to the box office or you can call them. There are a limited amount of seats and they're not reserved, as in you
I
can
think
pick
Norm
your
mentioned
row.
120 seats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's general admission.
And so it's first come, first served seating. There's parking on either side of the meeting house, and there's parking across the street, and there's parking around the corner, and we'll have a policeman who will direct people.
Okay, so April 30th, 7 p.m.
o'clock. Be there
At
or
the-
be square.
At the Centerbrook Meeting House.
at the Centerbrook Meeting House. yeah.
51 Main Street, Centerbrook.
All right, and you're going to perform in the second act?
Yes.
You're gonna open the second act?
I am opening.
What
the
are you
second
going to
act.
perform?
I haven't
Are you
completely decided
performing
yet.
with Ronnie or?
No.
I'm not, actually. I'll have my own
Just solo?
accompanist.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what are you going to do?
It will probably be something from the Great American Songbook, which is kind of the theme of the evening.
But you know,
so-
you're not telling me.
She hasn't decided yet.
She can sing lots
Because
of
I'm going to say,
things.
how about giving a little sample?
She's got a really good range, so.
Her mother was
So
an
we'll see.
opera star.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom was a lead soprano with the Metropolitan Opera.
Oh, nice.
So
Yay.
we don't have her, unfortunately.
Not unfortunately
have to do with
at
me.
all.
But you're going to have to stand on your own here,
I have to
right.
stand on my own here.
right? And at this point, you're debating what you're actually going to perform. Is that true?
Yeah, I've narrowed it down.
Okay. But you're doing a solo. So does Ronnie know what you're doing? Is he going to do something that complements what you do?
I know what he's doing, so
Okay.
we're not going to end up doing the same thing.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it'll complement fine.
And what do you have for music?
I will probably have my own pianist,
Okay.
accompanist.
Gotcha. Okay. And in terms of, again, the experience for the audience, give me an idea of what that night's going to be like. So start from the time they walk in the door. What happens?
Well, they'll be greeted by the Ivoryton Players, who will bend over backwards to make sure that they're comfortable and happy. Because I want them to know the community and the community to know the players. You know, all of this is about the heart of the community, and we want the community to join us more and more and be aware of us more and more. We're passionate about our community the way we're passionate about our theater. And the community knows some of us. They definitely know Norm, and they know us now from the number of productions we've done. And it'll be a lovely spring evening. You're coming in for a baby grand piano concert with a man who will be in a beautiful suit, good-looking guy, bass player in the background. But you don't have to dress up like it's New York. You dress nice and you dress comfortably, and you sit back and you're transported from whatever's happening in your life. There's a beautiful magnolia tree outside the Centerbrook meeting house. And then you go in and meet everybody and meet Ronnie after the show and sip a little wine, eat all these fabulous hors d'oeuvres that our committee and all our players have created. And it's just a fun, marvelous, fully entertaining meeting.
And you have your entire group involved in this?
We
in one
do.
capacity or another?
We do.
What is the entire group? How many people are part
We
of
have
the
about,
Ivoryton Players?
for this production, for the spring workshop, we have about 18 to 20 people,
Okay, and how many people are actually members of,
every one of them.
but
But
do you
it-
have more than 18 members? Or is it
There's
just the
a-
18?
There's a
It's session
fluctuation
by session.
sometimes.
Okay.
People
And if
can-
somebody's watching and they think that they have a desire.
In any capacity.
Yeah, and how would they do that? I mean, how do they go about contacting you, and what would happen next if they did contact
Well,
you?
we would love them to contact us. And they would go about that by shorelinedrama@gmail.com. and send me an email, Joyce Beauvais, or they can call the Ivoryton Playhouse and they'll lead them to me.
To you.
And we have 2 sessions a year. The show that we think we're going to do for the fall, winter.
Oh, wait, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No,
We're
but
going to do this chronologically.
I'm not going to
You have
say the
something
name
in
of the
May coming
show.
up, right?
Yeah, but the next session is going to be starting in late July, early August, and it's going to be a cast of thousands.
Yeah.
So we need you, we want you, come to us. A slight exaggeration. And we did a Coffin and Heart show last year, and that was a huge cast.
That was a good-sized cast.
They wrote before there were unions. So people could get paid 5 cents and they're in a Broadway play. Now they have to be much more cost conscious. So it's a gigantic cast and I had to figure out how to whittle it down to about 25. Not going to tell you what it is because I don't want anyone to know what it is.
But April 30th is the benefit.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and that's 7 p.m. and you go through the Ivoryton Playhouse box office. Do you have a website?
No,
We will.
You will
As
by
we're
then?
working on it.
You
Yeah,
don't know
actually-
what it is now?
It should be launched by probably the end of the week.
Okay. And so we're not going to have that information for them right now, but I see that there's a phone number going up on the screen right now, 860-767-7318, and that's for general admission and reservations. You take
At the box
reservations?
office.
Yes.
Yeah.
And payment, you use their box, their credit cards,
It's
their PayPal, the whole thing.
$25 for the ticket for the benefit.
How much?
$25.
Okay,
I
that's
mean, it
reasonable.
is benefiting us.
That's a great night out for
And you're
25.
getting a New
That's
York,
right.
you're getting a world-renowned star. And it's the first time we've had any financial help.
Now, if somebody has never heard of Ronnie White, who's doing the benefit for you,
Type
he
it
probably
in.
has a website.
He has a
Yeah,
website,
he does.
RonnieWhite.com, and he always says with 2 Y's, RonnyWhyte.
Oh, there it is there, okay.
So it's RonnieWhite.com, RonnyWhyte,
I'm a big Sinatra fan, so I'm assuming he does some Sinatra.
He starred in Our Sinatra, the show that toured all over the country and ran on off-Broadway for a couple of years. Eric Comstock wrote it, and
Is that right?
Ronnie
Yeah.
starred in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that kind of music, I think, is going to have a broad, wide range of age groups. I mean, because there's a lot of young people
yeah.
today that are getting into that music now.
Yeah.
They're discovering it for the first time. And that,
Yeah.
that's really one of the nights. So it could be a family night, too.
Oh, it could definitely be a family night. Oh, absolutely.
All right, now, let's move,
Yeah.
let's fast forward to May.
Yeah.
You have a performance coming
We
up
do.
in May. Tell us about it.
It's called Wit a la carte. And it kind of says what it is. We got a whole bunch of funny scenes. And all of these people put me on the floor every rehearsal. They come up with something new. These are the funniest people that I've ever known. This whole cast.
This event is in rehearsal now?
It's in
Yes.
rehearsal
Is
now.
it forming now, or do you know what you're doing?
We know what we're doing. It's been cast.
Okay.
And we've just finished the blocking of it. And we're just fine-tuning how to do the switch between the scenes. And we're working on 2 musical numbers. We've never done that before.
Okay, and Norm, this is your entree
Thank
into your first time involved with this, right?
Well, no, I was in last year's
Oh, you were
production.
last year, okay.
He was the lead.
Are you involved in the May
Yeah, and
production?
I'm involved in the May production
Doing
as
what?
well. Doing a scene from, let's see, what are my scenes?
You're doing
Joyce?
Private Lives?
Private Lives, Chapter 2,
In Sweet
Sweet
Charity.
and Sweet Charity.
Vittorio Vidal.
Vittorio Vidal, the matinee idol.
Yes. And Private Lives, witty Noel Coward, they have a complicated relationship in
Yes,
Private Lives.
yes, somewhat.
You want to talk about it?
Very
This is a G,
complicated.
wait a minute, this is a G-rated program.
It's
Can-
Noel
can we
Coward.
talk about it?
Yeah.
G-rated scene.
Two couples who are honeymooning in adjoining suites on the Riviera.
Gotcha.
One of the wife in one couple and the husband in another couple were previously married
To each other.
And they didn't
to
know
each
they
other,
were
and they
honeymooning.
did not know that they were
That they're-
honeymooning. So
Honeymooning in
they
the same
meet
place.
on the balcony,
Oh, my God.
and it's a very
And
funny.
it's
That's
very
gotta be
important to know
hilarious.
that the honeymoon has
So who
not
are you
begun.
in these relationships?
We are the
opposite.
exes.
Yes,
They're
we,
the
You're
exes.
we used to be married.
This is your ex-wife?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And she's got a new guy. What do you think about the new guy?
He's a schlep.
And it's established right
and
at
his new wife.
She's a schlub.
It's established right at the beginning that the honeymoon has not yet begun
Yes.
for either couple.
It hasn't been consummated.
Correct.
Okay.
There we go.
We have
And
there's where all the
tumultuous
So
trouble
we're trying to do
ensues.
something to prohibit the progression of this wonderful weekend?
It might appear that way, but it goes awry.
Oh, I see. Well, that
all
sounds like
things
a
do.
very, very funny scene.
is
You
a
guys are having a
funny
ball doing it, too.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah.
I can see on the look
Love
on your faces that this is a lot of fun.
Well, Norm is fantastic to work with, and I was Maggie to his white side last fall, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We've
loved-
had a relationship
have.
already
Now, you guys married otherwise in real life?
Yes.
in real life, but
Yeah,
not to each
Not
other.
to each other.
Do your spouses know about this?
You know, it's now
That's
need to know
theater for
basis.
you,
You know,
baby.
that's
Joyce,
the magic of theater.
like a matchmaker here.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that because Matchmaker is one of our.
All right, gotcha. All right, Emmy, are you involved in the May production?
I am.
Okay, what is it? What are you
I'm doing a part that I've always wanted to do, Lady Bracknell.
I don't know her.
Who is quite a character in The Importance of Being Earnest.
Okay.
She is interviewing a young man who wants to marry her very posh daughter, Gwendolyn. She's not quite sure that this is going to work out at all. And in fact, it doesn't until the very end. But it's a part that everyone can chew the scenery with. Maggie Smith's done it, Judi Dench, Edith Evans
Edith Evans.
is the,
Yeah.
the typical.
The penultimate.
Yeah. So I get to do that, and then I get to take it a little bit easier in Noel Coward as the poor second wife of a novelist whose first wife is dead and remains dead throughout the show. So it's a seance scene. It's the opening scene
Light
of the
spirit.
play.
Life spirit.
So how do you pull that off?
Light
I mean, how do you
spirit.
do that?
Oh, you'll see.
Well, the
You'll
only way to
see.
find out is
There's
to
only
come
one
to the
way.
show.
Have to buy a ticket.
All right, let's talk about buying tickets. How do you buy a ticket?
The
How much are the
same
tickets?
way, but
And
the-
the date of this in May?
May 21st is the evening performance, Saturday night, and then we have a matinee on Sunday the 22nd.
Okay.
And the tickets are $10. You can't
Wow,
beat
are you kidding?
that.
It's
Great
No.
value.
I mean, you can't buy 2 cups of coffee at
No,
Dunkin'
you
Donuts for
can't.
$10
No, you
bucks
can't.
anymore, you know? Are you
And you're
kidding?
going to have the time of your lives.
Yeah.
And that's also
And this
through
is
the
also
box
in
office.
Centerbrook?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And it does cover, therefore, so we've got people coming out for a Saturday night. Kids are welcome again. It's all family friendly. And then you've got possibly the seniors who come in buses from the various centers around on
a
the
matinee.
shoreline.
Yeah, which is great
And
for
the
matinee.
matinee is great for them.
Now, 120-seat venue, if somebody's sitting in the last row, what do you
It's
have?
so
What do you
intimate.
have for sound?
It's a raised.
It's, well, projection, darling.
That's right.
Yes.
First thing you learn.
What do you do for sound to somebody who's half deaf?
Project a little louder.
Call me and I'll put you in the front row.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to throw the secret out of it. When I get tickets for the Ivoryton Playhouse, I always call and say,
Yeah.
we're hearing impaired.
You have to do
although
that.
They have a
Yeah.
great sound system there. They
You have
they
to
have a
do
great
that.
audio system.
You have to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you can do that. So somebody
Yes.
can call you and say, I
Yes.
need, or I'm handicapped, or
Yes.
whatever. You can do
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's all. So you're running this. This is professional. I mean, this is the real
yeah.
deal here.
Yep.
One of the goals in our
$10
mission.
bucks?
$10.
Yeah.
Really, that's fantastic.
The
Yeah.
whole family.
Well, none of us are getting paid.
Well, not much anyway.
The mission of
paid in
this was
kindness.
not, yes, we're a community theater in the sense that we're for the community, but we are not a 501(c)(3). We don't have a board of directors. We don't have a budget. But we run this as professionally. So many of us are professional actors. I've never had experience in community theater, so we run it as a professional theater.
And it's what we do for love. I mean, if you're going to
Yeah.
quote chorus line, that's what we're doing it for.
And you have a bunch of volunteers here who are helping with this
Yeah.
production. Your crew is all volunteer, all members of the Ivoryton Players, correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except
And,
for your
you guys,
grandson.
I'm not going to get you up here right now, but you guys are all a part of what's going on as well. You have some role at some time
They're
or
all
another.
actor.
Yeah.
They're all acting
Okay.
with us.
You know, I'm just amazed at you know, the average. My next door neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden shows up on stage.
Yeah.
So it could be an average person.
Oh, definitely.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have people that have never acted before and people that have acted all their lives and everything in between.
Yeah.
And we need tech
That's how
people.
far we are?
We need technical people as well. So if you're thinking, I don't want to be on stage right away, we need people to help us with props, with costumes, with stage managing, with set changes. The problem is that they get the bug, and then they not want to do backstage work. Everybody wants to be on stage. But we need everybody. Everyone's welcome. Come to the benefits. Come to Wit a la carte. You'll have the time.
All right,
of
we've
your
covered
life.
2/3 of what you actually are planning in your season, correct?
Yeah.
We covered the benefit on April 30th.
Yeah.
We covered the
Wit a la
scenes.
cart.
play
Yeah.
and matinee, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
On
evening and
May
matinee.
23rd?
20.
21
and
21st. 22nd.
Saturday night and Sunday matinee, May 21st and 22nd.
21st and 22nd,
Yeah.
okay. Don't listen to me, listen to her. She knows what's going on.
That's
here.
right.
All right, so the bottom line is we've covered that. Can we fast forward? I know you don't have a lot of detail that you want to give us today, but you have a third segment
We do.
of what you do in a
And
season.
that's when we need our new participants. We'll start rehearsal. Why it's so solid is we start many months in advance. However, we only meet once a week. You know, it doesn't strain anybody's schedule until we get right down to the last week with tech rehearsal, dress rehearsal. So we start rehearsing in late July, early August. We understand people's vacations or illnesses.
They have full-time jobs, they have children, and whatever. They have
Whatever it
commitments,
is, yeah.
And so you accommodate that as best you
We
can.
accommodate that as best we can, and that show will be anytime from mid-November to the teens in December.
Yeah. Now, are the people you're looking for all on-stage performers, or are you also
No,
looking
every
for
kind,
backstage and crew and
Everything.
seating and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
Carpenters to do your
Yes,
sets?
yeah. We had to have, for the man who came to dinner, we needed a sarcophagus.
Yes.
And we thought, well, how are we going to go about getting that? And she had to step inside of it.
I had to
And-
get encoffined.
And so we went to the local funeral parlor and got
You went where?
the funeral parlor, got a casket and painted it. It worked out great. Put some wheels on it, and we had our sarcophagus.
There you go.
But in
And it looked
July,
fabulous.
but in July we'll be starting with rehearsals, and usually that typically starts for people that are want to join. The first couple of sessions, the new people get to, because all of the parts aren't cast.
Right.
So we ask them to read various roles in the play,
And then we cast.
and then we cast, and then
So you actually have auditions?
we have
We do.
auditions.
We
But
do.
if you show up,
You're in.
you're in.
If you show up,
If
you're
you
in.
fog the mirror,
If you fog the mirror, you're in. If you can breathe.
all right. So you're going to find a place for everybody.
We do.
That's right.
But
Yeah,
I
we
think
do.
that's the beauty of what you do.
We do.
Is that you mentioned that the ensemble aspect of it, and you get to know each other, and you fool around with everybody's wife or husband. Or,
No, that's community theater. That doesn't happen
Oh,
there.
you don't do that. You don't, I misread what you were saying.
Only within the context of the play.
Okay, gotcha. But it's a social environment too, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And
these
it's
folks
very-
are showing up to
Yeah.
be on stage, but also to be a part of a social.
Absolutely, yes.
And
There
there's
are
a lot
such
of
friendships.
vitality in every single rehearsal that we do. Joyce will give us improvisation work. Just try it this way, do this, and people start getting energized and understanding that we're all playing
Yeah.
and having a great time.
Having fun.
So we can, if somebody was interested in being a part of your group, they can contact Joyce Beauvais through the Ivoryton Playhouse. They'll redirect
Or
them to you.
Shoreline Drama.
What
at
about
Gmail.
if they wanted to talk to one of you that are not the main guy, but they wanted to get
They
your
want
personal
a
experience?
little bit of
Connect us.
background.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll meet you at the,
Of course.
at the meeting house or go have some coffee and say, here's what it is.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. We can guarantee, because pretty much anybody who's joined us
Has
has
stayed.
stuck with
Do you
us.
have age limitations?
No.
Oh, gosh, no.
No. Adult, because we rehearse in the daytime.
You're out, Lucas.
But we'd love to have some children at some point, as we grow and find different ways to.
Well, I
There
know
are
Jackie
ways.
at the
There are
Ivoryton
be-
Playhouse has
yeah.
found a whole new audience by having all those children's plays now.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yes.
polka
She's got
dots is
one
up.
this week.
Polka dots
Yes,
is
she
running
does.
right
Like
now.
Polka dots, I think.
Yes.
Polka Dots
Polka
this
Dots.
week, and then their first show is John Denver.
That's
Yeah.
running this week as well.
So You've alluded several times now of how beneficial the Ivoryton Playhouse is to you
we
and
love
to your
it.
group,
Yeah.
and all the stuff they do for you and make available to you. What benefit are you to them?
That would be the question that would be the hardest to answer. Jackie
I mean,
has a
why
heart
does
of gold.
she want to do this for you?
She loves this. She may be the only one because I think we're kind of a pain in the neck to the crew because we're more work, or to the administrative office, but they happen to be the kindest bunch of people I've ever encountered. They never say no, they never say, I can't talk to you right now. Here's my idea, we can help this way. And they just enjoy the community spirit of us being another part of the Playhouse.
Now, the third aspect, the third of what we discussed here as far as your events, that takes place at the Ivoryton Playhouse,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes.
On that
Correct.
stage?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what is that like for you?
Oh, it's
Because, you know, I
amazing.
just walk through those
It's
doors
amazing.
and I get just an amazing
It's
feeling just
it's
being
almost
there.
sacred.
And I always try to get there early and walk around and look at
Yeah.
all the photographs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
To see who has been on that stage is
Yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. The history that goes along with it is phenomenal.
It's truly amazing. The theater has just celebrated their 100th anniversary.
So what is it like for you?
Oh, it's a wonderful theater to be in, and the history of it, and you can kind of just sense that energy that's built up over time. It's great theater to be in.
And you think back to all of the productions that went through there. My Lord in heaven.
Oh, by now, what, thousands maybe, who knows?
Thousands, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, I think, the oldest summer stock
Yes, it is.
theater
I mean,
still
Continuously
functioning.
And it's
operating, yeah.
iconic. There
I
are
think I
very
read that
few of
somewhere,
these
yeah.
theaters left of this type.
Yes.
Yeah, we have all the beautiful new modern theaters that are in the high schools and in the colleges and
Yeah.
O'Neill and everywhere, but
Yeah.
this is a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that can come and feel the magic inside this theater and feel the history and look at the literal physical plant of this theater and that old tree that is carved
Oh,
out
yeah, they carved it
front.
up now.
Yeah.
But they, you know, she's done a lot of improvements to the infrastructure too, with
Yeah,
the
oh,
lighting
yeah.
and the sound. and
Totally
different, I
necessary,
noticed the
of
different
course.
things they've done to the
Oh,
old theater.
yes.
Yet it's still the old theater when you
Yep.
walk
Yes,
Still
it
in.
the old theater, but with
Yep.
all the modern technology, and she gets full orchestras in there. I don't know how. And Jackie is always working to improve the Playhouse. And she's now doing.
She's been there, what, about 10, 12
20
years?
years.
She's been there 20 years.
20 years?
19,
Yeah.
I believe it is, yeah.
And you know they're growing. They're going to be building more parking space and purchasing that, and more
That's
housing
always
for
useful.
actors.
Yeah.
She's always thinking of expansion in the future and the life of this theater going on. And she's so dedicated. You can't help but be inspired by her.
Yeah, you know, in some communities, when there are events night after night after night, you know, people get a little upset that live nearby. But I don't see. First of all, I don't see a lot of residential
People are very
properties
proud
that
of
have
the
impacts.
Ivoryton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I'd be surprised if anybody lived next door and really complained, to be honest
The
with you.
Ivoryton pub is very happy that.
Oh,
they're happy.
yes, and the Blue Hound
I know they're
Cookery,
happy.
And the Blue Hound Cookery is very happy.
and now
Yeah.
Porky Pete's.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, you've done a lot as far as economic development for the area.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, and the nice galleries. It's a nice evening walk.
If you want to
before or
spend a couple of
after.
minutes talking about them, I've really been a fan of them a long time, and I've always wondered, these actors that come in that are Actors Equity, and they come in from New York or wherever, where do they stay? Where do
There's
they
a
pick
house.
them up?
There's
They
a
don't have
house.
hotels that are, you know.
There's not a hotel. They stay in the actor's house. That's next door to the meeting house.
Oh, is that right?
And they're going to try to build another
and
acting house.
when
actor's house.
there's a huge cast for big shows with a lot of dancers and things like that, they'll rent rooms at the Ivoryton Inn
Oh, they do.
and put people up there. They'll put people up at the Actors House, which is adjacent to the Centerbrook Meeting House. And then members of the board, friends of the theater, will offer their home to actors.
And
to
there are
stay
local
there.
people who are auditioning as well. I mean,
Yes,
with
and there
South
are a number of
Pacific
local
in
people.
particular.
Now, you're speaking with a degree of authority or credibility
yeah.
because you were on the board, you said. right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so you had input into all these.
Yes. That's one of the reasons that I'm not on the board any longer. No, actually, the board is put together with a number of professional people who, while they love the theater, aren't versed in the technical part of the theater, and they're really they're concerned about the foundation and fundraising for the foundation and an endowment
Sure.
for the theater and things like that.
Well, the state's pulling back a lot of that money.
And the state has pulled
Yeah.
back a lot of that
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And The theater really owes itself to the fact that, that there was no air conditioning on Broadway. In 1930, when Milton Stiefel bought the Playhouse from the Comstock-Cheney piano company,
Yep.
there was no air conditioning. Broadway would shut down in the summertime because it was oppressively hot. And so he knew all of these, he was a Broadway impresario, and he knew all of these people that worked in the Broadway stage that were out of work in the summer, and so he made some phone calls and said, hey, you want to come to the Connecticut shore?
We don't have air conditioning either. We got windows.
But we've got windows, and we've got the
Of
ocean,
course.
and we've got beaches, and we've got a pond right up the street where they can go skinny dipping.
Best summer stock.
And that's how he managed to lure all of the famous stars.
Unbelievable. Just an
to the
incredible number of top, I mean, actors and actresses in
Yeah.
history, just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it has such an iconic reputation to this day. Any New York actor that has the opportunity to audition for the Ivoryton Playhouse is thrilled. And if they land a role, they're so excited.
10 minutes left? Okay, we're approaching 60 minutes, believe it or not.
All
So,
right.
Wow.
This has been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed meeting you all,
Yay.
first of all, and getting this information.
We've enjoyed meeting
Thank
you.
you.
And your
Thank you.
personalities really come through, which I think, if someone's sitting in the audience watching you guys, I think they're going to see what we're seeing right now. That excitement, and you love what you're doing.
And it's
Yes.
live theater. You're in the same room and you're having an immediate response back and forth with what's going on stage. You do forget that you're not
Okay.
part of it.
Now, we left
part
that
of it.
third hanging because you don't have
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh.
detail, but there is going to be a third, and it is going to be in the fall.
Yes, and that's where we need new members.
That's all we know about it?
We
Cast-
need
cast
new
of
members, and we
thousands.
start rehearsals in late July, early August.
Okay.
And we'll accommodate you. So if you say, oh, gee, we're going to Italy for 2 weeks, you'll go. We'll still have, that's why we have the long rehearsal period. But we do ask for a commitment. Not someone that says, gee, I've got a hangnail, I can't come to rehearsal. We want people with a passion and a commitment. Those are and a love of fun.
Is she a
That's it.
tough boss?
She's a delightful
No.
boss.
But
She's a tough boss.
But I'm assuming that she has a schedule and you stick to it.
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And she
That's
lays
clear.
out a plan and you all buy into the plan.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's important. Because when you go on stage, you don't want to go there half naked,
No.
right?
No,
You,
no,
you
none of this
want to
could
know
have
what you're
happened.
doing and why you're doing it, and that's where being the tough boss comes in, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
at the end of the night, you all hug each other, I
None
assume.
of this happens without
Yeah,
her.
that's for
None of this
sure.
happens without her. And she's got an amazing energy. I don't know how you accomplish all the stuff that you managed to put together and accomplish. It's
All right, one more time. Give me some dates, times, and money, and so forth. Let's
Okay.
start with the April
The
30th.
Ronnie White benefit with Boots Mailson as the bass player. Don't miss it. Saturday, April 30th, 7 p.m. Plenty of parking.
And you get to see Deborah
And
hear Deborah.
you get to hear Deborah Mott in a wonderful solo. And you get to have a lovely reception following to meet Ronnie, to meet Deborah, to meet the Ivoryton Players, and to enjoy their cuisine. And then just a short month later, not even a month, we do Wit a la carte, again at the Centerbrook Meeting House, 51 Main Street, Centerbrook.
Tickets are available
$25
through-
for the benefit, and the tickets are available through the box office at the
they
Ivoryton
cost-
Playhouse. But for Wit a la carte, the tickets are $10, and they're available through the box office of the Ivoryton Playhouse. And those dates are May 21st and 22nd, Saturday evening, 7 o'clock, Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock. And a blast, just a
It'll be a
blast.
blast.
Get ready to laugh. If you want to laugh till it hurts, come to our shows, because that's our whole purpose.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what, guys? We have to wrap this up. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about or any information you would like to give to the viewing audience that we have not discussed? We only have a couple of minutes left.
Well, just support us. Come and see our shows, support us, appreciate us, and come to the benefit, because that does support us, and find out what we're like, and join us as well. Come and join us.
And I apologize that I had to change the time on you and cause Jackie Hubbard to not be here today. She was originally going to
She
be a
was.
part of the panel.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point in the future. I'd love to meet her. I
Yeah.
feel like I know her sitting from that back row over there.
Yeah.
Because she comes out obviously before each play.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you read about her a lot now. You read about the
yep.
Ivoryton
Well,
quite a
she's
bit.
just amazing.
So,
Yep.
She's
right.
a firecracker.
so anything else, Deborah?
Don't
Emmy?
think so.
Thank
don't
you
think so.
very
Yes,
much for
thank
this
you.
Oh,
opportunity.
you're very welcome. I really enjoyed this,
Yeah.
honestly. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed this.
And to those of you who may be new to live theater, it's a hoot. You got to come.
Yeah,
You
it
gotta,
really is.
You got to
Yep.
see
is a
real
hoot.
people moving around on stage, getting lost.
Rick, anything else from you? Got enough? Okay. All right, once again, my name is Tony Fapiano. It's been my privilege to host this discussion, and I'm from Guilford, and I normally am a part of the Guilford Community Television group over there. But I met Rick in Guilford, and he asked me to be involved here, and I'm very glad that you did. This was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to thank, I brought a couple of people with me, too. You have
Yes.
your crew, but I brought
Yeah.
two of my key people, too. My grandson, Lucas. What a guy.
Bravo.
Lucas,
And
bravo.
in the control room is Donald Beckler, who does all my directing.
Thank you,
in
Donald.
Guilford.
Thank you, Donald.
All right, with that, we're going to wrap this up. April 30th, don't forget it, and May
21,
21,
22.
21 and 22.
Gotcha. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.